Can we sort of break down, because we are going to move on and we want to see some examples at conflictforecast.org, but help non-practitioners, non-data scientists that care about prevention understand what is the standard sort of toolbox in machine learning, and what do you have to work with? How should they think? And what should they even maybe learn more about?
So I think that the main thing to start thinking about is the difference between supervised learning and unsupervised learning. These are the two main areas that are relevant for this problem. So supervised learning is you have zeros and ones. So that's the typical thing, is like you have pictures of cats and dogs, and somebody went and said, okay, this is a cat, this is a dog, this is a cat, this is a dog, this is a cat, this is a dog. And then you show these things to the computer and you say cat, dog, cat, dog, cat, dog. And then eventually the computer will know what a cat looks like and what a dog looks like. Okay, so that's supervising the learning. Unsupervised learning is like, you don't do that at all. You just show the computer cat and dog pictures, but you don't tell the computer this is a cat and this is a dog. Good luck. And you might think like, but that doesn't make sense. Why would the machine learn anything? And it's like, haha, think about, I don't know whether you have children, but like, look at children, right? It's like, babies are like, they see their hand and they see, okay, this is something else than the other thing, right? So they just like, in terms of the lingo would be clustering, like it's like segmentation. It's like, oh, this is different, this is something else. And so the first step in all of our minds is like making differences between things, right? So this is different than this, and this is something else, and this is something else, and this is something else. Like, if you have done that, then you already did a big step into like understanding the world and like making inferences about it, right? So it can be very, very useful. That's exactly what we do actually at the webpage. So we have text, and we want to use that text, and we want to use text because text is fast, right? You can update it monthly or even faster if you want to, and you can use it for forecasting. And so we want to use it, but it's super complex. And I said like, okay, the machine cannot help us very much, right? So the other machine is so we have two machines, right? One is like looking at the text, and the other machine is doing the forecasting. The forecasting one is actually a supervised machine. It's like, it has seen the history of humankind, or like at least since '89, and knows what was a zero that was followed by a civil war and what was a zero that was not followed by a civil war. So it can learn, it has this cats and dogs kind of machine, right? But there's the other machine, and the other machine is just looking at text. And now you could say, okay, make that other machine really dumb and just feed the raw text to the second machine. And the second machine will get like unstructured text, like with grammar and all the complexity of human language, and will try to make sense of like 400 cases of civil war. It would be completely impossible. We will just not get anywhere. We'll just start to see patterns in the data and say like, oh, because like in 2000 and 2001, there was a mention of like, you know, Osama. It must mean that Osama is always like a civil war word, and therefore I'm going to try to find Osama, and then every time it comes up, like it's a civil war and so on, right? So no, that's not going to help you. You need to kind of aggregate the data up. And so first what you need to do is like, that's what we do, is like you do unsupervised learning first, and then you can solve the supervised machine learning part better. So that's basically, the question is like, how much data do you have to learn from in your prediction task when you're trying to figure out your taste of fragility? And if you have lots of data and lots of cases, then you can do very fancy things with supervised learning. And if you don't, then you need to do a lot of stuff with unsupervised learning or theory, right? Or like thinking about the world and sticking that into the machine.